Hello students, how are you all? I wish and pray you all are safe and healthy at your home. I can understand that we all are worried due to this pandemic, but we should not lose hope and we should be very positive about our future. So in this video series, this is the third video. We have already discussed the concept of measurement and assessment, and the topic that we are going to discuss today is evaluation. I request to all the listeners, if they have not watched my first two videos that is related to the measurement and assessment, please go through those videos, because if you are unable to understand the concept of measurement and assessment, it would be a little difficult for you all to understand the concept of evaluation. As I have written that measurement and assessment are the means and evaluation is the end. To understand the concept of evaluation, the first term is measurement and the second term is assessment. Here it means that measurement is the first step and the assessment is the second step to understand the concept of evaluation. Let's have some discussion about the definition of evaluation. For the CTET students, the concept of evaluation is also very important, because to understand the CCE, continuous and comprehensive evaluation, firstly it is necessary to know the concept of evaluation. And for the B.Ed students who are pursuing the B.Ed course, it is mandatory to understand the concept of evaluation. So here I am given the definition of GAVE, which is given in 1991. And the definition is a systematic process of collecting and analyzing data in order to determine whether and to what degree objectives have been or being achieved. In this definition, 4 steps are mentioned. The first step is systematic process of collecting the data. This is the first step related to the measurement. What we do in the measurement? We assign any number or any value or any sign to the attribute and characteristics of the person or a object. And the second step in the concept of evaluation is to analyze the data. Why to analyze the data? In order to determine. These lines are related to the concept of assessment. What we do in assessment, on the basis of gathered data from the measurement, we judge, we make some inferences about the outcome of the students. In the same way, in this step, what we do, we analyze the data in order to determine that what are the objectives that have been set, all are achieved or not. So in the definition of evaluation, Gay has mentioned that firstly we have to systematically collect the data, then we have to analyze the data to determine what the objectives have been set, are those objectives have been achieved or not. One more definition to understand the concept of evaluation, and this is given by the Ebel and Frisby in 1991. The Ebel and Frisby has written about the evaluation is that the purpose of evaluation is to make a judgment about the quality or worth of something. It's very important definition. Like in measurement, what we do, we only on the basis of scales, we assign some numbers or values to the attributes or the characteristics of any people or a person. In assessment, we make some inferences and then take some judgment. But in evaluation, we evaluate whatever the judgment we are taking, are they full of quality? We do check the worthiness of that quality. So in the process of evaluation, we check the desirability of that quality, we check the desirability of that ability. In the previous slides, we have discussed about the concept of evaluation, and I am hoping that you all would be able to understand the meaning of evaluation. Here I am going to discuss about the characteristics of good evaluation. I will discuss it very briefly, but here the 5 characteristics are mentioned, and that is validity, reliability, practicability, fairness and usefulness. Validity means with what objectives the test is constructed. If the test is applied or implemented on the students, the objectives, with the objectives, whatever the set for the test, if the test is useful to fulfill that objectives, this is validity. I am again explaining you what is validity. Whatever the objectives are set for the test, if test is applied on the students, if the test is fulfilling the already set objectives, then it would be considered that it is a valid test. Now come to the reliability. Reliability is depend upon the consistency of the result. If the test is applying again and again with a certain with a gap of certain period, and the result is consistently coming the same, then we can say that the test is reliable. Now the issue of practicability. The test or the evaluation procedure should be very realistic, practical and efficient in terms of their cost, time taken and ease of application. So this, if all these characteristics is test is having all these characteristics, then we can say that it is a practical test. Now the fairness. Evaluation must be fair for all the learners, and it can be possible by accurate reflecting of range of expected behaviors as desired by the course of objectives. Now the usefulness. Evaluation should be useful for all learners. Feedback from evaluation must be made available to learners and help them to improve their to prove their current strength and weaknesses. So these are the 5 characteristics of good evaluation. Now there are different approaches to evaluation. I am mentioning here the 4 approaches of evaluation. The first one is placement evaluation, the second one is format evaluation, the third one is diagnostic evaluation, and the fourth one is summative evaluation. We will discuss in the upcoming slides about all 4 approaches to evaluation, but the format evaluation and summative evaluation is very popular and important, so we will discuss it more precisely. If we see the types of evaluation and their functions, so we can say that on the basis of areas of function, I mean before instructional process. Instructional process here means when the teacher entered in the class, he or she will give some instructions to the students. So before this process start, the evaluation, that placement evaluation will take place. And in the placement evaluation, what we know, the entry behavior of the students will be known by the teacher. Now during the instructional process, the formative evaluation process and formative evaluation and diagnostic evaluation take place. Formative evaluation the teacher do to know the mastery in the content, while the diagnostic evaluation do to solve the learning difficulties. And the third one, after the instructional process, the summative evaluation done by the teacher and summative evaluation due to certify the learner. So we will discuss our discussion about the approaches to evaluation. And the first evaluation which we are going to discuss is placement evaluation. It can be defined as a type of evaluation that provides information to the teachers about the learners to whom he or she deals with relating to their existing knowledge and experiences. Based on that, the teacher designs to teach new knowledge. In this type of evaluation, because it is before the instructional process, so as the teacher enters in the classroom, the teacher tries to understand the learning level of the students by the previous knowledge or the experience the students have, and on the basis of the previous knowledge or the experience the students already have, the teacher design his or her teaching learning activities and start the new topic on the basis of the previous knowledge, so that the students would be able to understand the new topic more easily. Example, if we want, then we can say that the all type of entrance examination for selecting learners to a particular course is also an example of placement evaluation. So the second approach to evaluation is formative evaluation. This term is first coined by the Michael Scriven in 1967 while working on curriculum evaluation. This is very popular evaluation and very important. We will discuss the formative evaluation more in detail. So here is a definition of Scriven. Formative evaluation is typically conducted during the development or improvement of a program or product or person and so on, and it is conducted often more than once for in-house staff of the program with the extent to improve. What the Scriven want to say that this evaluation can be conducted more than one in a year. If we want an example of the formative evaluation, I can give you from the daily to daily life. When we cook the rice, we all cook the rice at our home. So while cooking rice at our home, sometimes if some guests are arriving at our home and we want that all the dishes served by us should be very good, and then if we want to check the rice, are they cooked or not, so we take some amount of or some quantity of rice just to check if the rice are cooked or not, if the rice are properly cooked or not. This is the example of formative evaluation. While during the process, while teaching learning process, if we go for the evaluation of the students, then it will be considered as formative evaluation. Some more points about the formative evaluation. Formative evaluation is considered as the second stage of evaluation which is conducted during the teaching learning process. I have already discussed while discussing about the definition of formative evaluation given by Scriven that it is the second stage of evaluation and it is conducted during the teaching learning process. And while we were discussing about the areas of evaluation, in the previous slides we have discussed that formative evaluation will do after the placement evaluation. Secondly, it provides feedback to the teachers to know effectiveness of their teaching and modification required, and the learners to know the progress of their learning. Formative evaluation is useful for both teachers and the students as it provides feedback to the teachers to know the effectiveness of their teaching, and if any modification required, the teachers can do modification in their teaching. to bring the effectiveness in their teaching, and the learners also get feedback for their progress. And the purpose of conducting formative evaluation is to monitor the learning progress of the learner and to know whether the learning objectives are being achieved or not. We have discussed in the definition of evaluation given by Ebel and Frisby. In the definition of Ebel and Frisby, it was mentioned that the purpose of evaluation is that the objectives are being achieved or not. So formative evaluation, informative evaluation, we check the set objectives are achieved or not. Secondly, its purpose is for the students to monitor the learning progress of the learners too. The next approach to evaluation is diagnostic evaluation. After completing the formative evaluation, the next step is diagnostic evaluation. These are the sequential after the formative evaluation. The diagnostic evaluation comes. The key word in the diagnostic evaluation is identifying of learning difficulties. Actually, diagnostic evaluation is conducted along with formative evaluation during the instructional process. It is carried out based on the data obtained from the formative evaluation. The main purpose of conducting diagnostic evaluation is to identify and remove the learning difficulties of learners if it is observed and found during the formative evaluation. Diagnostic evaluation not only solves learning difficulties of learners but also identifies and provides remedies for personal, physical and psychological problems. For example, if a student is performing consistently poor in any subjects, then we have to give her or him a diagnostic test just to find out what are the learning difficulties the student is facing, and after that evaluating the test, we can provide the student's remedy on the basis of the requirement of the student. Like if he or she needs some psychological counseling, then we can provide them psychological counseling. The last and another important approach to evaluation is summative evaluation. It is used to find out the extent to which the instructional objectives have been achieved at the end of a terminal period. The terminal period could be a semester, could be a year, could be a unit, because summative evaluation is undertaken at the end of the unit, at the end of the semester, or at the end of the chapter, or at the end of the year. Not only this, in summative evaluation we find out that to what extent the instructional objectives which were set by the teacher in the starting of the chapter or in the before entering in the classroom, are they achieved or not. Some more important about the summative evaluation, that it is used primarily for assigning course grades or for certifying students' mastery of the intended learning outcomes at the end of a particular program. As we have already discussed that it is undertaken at the end of any particular program or unit. So the main purpose of doing the summative evaluation is to certify the students, are they get the mastery on the content or not. And for this evaluation, both external and teacher made tests are used. While we can say if the end of the unit, the teacher made test can be used, and after the end of the end of the year, the annual examination question paper can be set by the external examiners. As we can see that in the B.Ed, we are the teachers of B.Ed. So in B.Ed, while conducting the internal examination, the question papers are set by the teachers, and in the final examination the question papers are set by the external examiners. Although the main purpose of summative evaluation is assigning grades or marks, it also provides information for judging the appropriateness of the course objective and the effectiveness of instruction. We have already discussed in the first point that the main purpose of the summative evaluation is to certify the students. How do we certify the students? By the grades or the marks. While for the formative evaluation, what we do in the formative evaluation, we try to find the problems of the students and we monitor the progress of the student and give the feedback to the students too. And in summative evaluation, we only certify the students by the grades or the marks. No feedback no feedback is given. It also provides information for judging the appropriateness of the course objectives and the effectiveness of instruction. Not only this, in summative evaluation we find how much the effectiveness of instruction is achieved, the course objectives are appropriate or not. If we give the example of summative evaluation, as we have discussed in the formative evaluation, the cooking rice process. So when we take the same example, when we serve the rice in the dining table for the guest, and if guests are evaluating our rice, are the rice are properly cooked or not, then it will become the example of summative evaluation. So students, today we have discussed some very important topic like what is the concept of evaluation, what are the characteristics of good evaluation, what are the different approaches to evaluation, the placement evaluation, the formative evaluation, the diagnostic evaluation, and lastly the summative evaluation. I have already mentioned in the starting of the video that the formative evaluation and summative evaluations are very popular and very important. So here is an assignment for all of you to find out some differences between formative evaluation and summative evaluation, and you all have to answer in the comment section of this video at least 2 points you all have to highlight to find the differences between the formative evaluation and summative evaluation. So students, this is the third video in the video series to understand the concept of assessment and evaluation, but there are little more concepts related which are very important to know or understand related to the assessment and evaluation. We will discuss in another video all the remaining concepts, but I have given you one task or the assignment to find out some differences between the formative evaluation and summative evaluation. Kindly all students try to answer this question and write your answers in the comment section of this video. If you all will not be able to find differences, then we will discuss it in the next video. Thank you so much for listening me, and if you are liking my videos, if you have any feedback you want to give for my presentation, kindly do in the comment section of the video. And if you like all the videos or the lectures given by me, kindly like the videos and subscribe my channel for the further updates, and please press the bell icon to get the notification about the future updates. So students, best of luck.